All right, everybody. The award season, as far as the actual shows, the actual nominations coming out for some of these shows, are about to begin. We have the Golden Globes coming up here on Wednesday. The nominations announcement will be on Wednesday, February the 3rd. I'm shooting this on the 1st. So, yeah, time to put in the last final predictions. I'm actually forgot I got one more page I got to open up before I do that. Anyway, so just to let you know, I made a couple last-minute changes, and changes at the last minutes tend to not work out. Well, for me especially, like there's a couple of times where it has worked out, but there's other times where it's like, oh, that was a dumb mistake. So we'll kind of go through them here, and we'll get started here. We'll kind of work our way up to drama, film, and so on and so forth. Usual procedure here. Okay. So starting with the foreign language films here, I don't have these in alphabetical order, so I'm going to try to, because they always announce them in alphabetical order. I have a way I alphabetize them, but everybody else does a different way, so I never truly know if, it never completely lines up with mine, But alphabetically, in my order, I have Another Round. I'm trying to alphabetize these real quick. I Carry You With Me from Mexico. Another Round is from as Hungary, whichever one. Actually, I can find it here. Denmark. Okay, that was my second guess. I always get these confused until they actually say like on the. What's really nice is at the Golden Globes, especially, they say what country it's from as well, which is really helpful. They don't always on the Oscars. The day of the telecast. Let's see, so that one, and then The Life Ahead, Minari, and then I have Night of the Kings from the Ivory Coast, which I think just got in. We talked about that one at the Indie Spirits or something. That one I've heard, that one tossed around quite a bit. So, I mean, not always at the Globes. Sometimes they do go their own way, and they just pick a random one that they really like, There were a couple that I was looking at and these are just the 93 that were selected to compete at the Oscars. I was kind of looking up and down the list here a little bit before we got into it, but, Covidia Diaz one. I know some people have said that actually might beat Another Round, or might be the early frontrunner for that one, which did get a nomination there also at Indie Spirits. And that one is from, I just passed it, Bosnia. Let's see, what was another one? So, and I'm just saying they might go with films that are not on the Oscar list, is what I'm trying to say here. Like Portrait of a Lady on Fire, or whatever that one was. Portrait of a Woman on Fire, whatever the full title of that one was last year. I know it wasn't eligible at the Oscars, but it ended up doing very well across some of these award shows. Like it got in for foreign language film here at the Globes, or international film, whatever they classify it as. It got, tons and tons of those critics prizes, especially for like its cinematography, and I think picked up a couple for score. It did beat Parasite at a couple of those international film awards as well. But it was kind of weird, because some of those, like, they didn't put Parasite in for international film. They only put it in for, like, best film or whatever. So they said, well, it can't qualify for both or something. But anyways, let's see. Colombia Has Forgotten will be submitted for the Oscars. Colombia is one I've seen. They've had their fair share of nominees through the years here. Trying to think who else they've been, considering here, because like I said, almost all coverage I've seen across most of the sites here, international film is one that they have it's kind of just going to depend on who makes the short list here. Anyway, so and actually those short lists should be coming out here in the coming weeks here. I forget what the date is, but it's coming up fast. They just talked about, just to break away real quick here, it actually relates because we're going to talk about song next. In the music categories at the Oscars, Ma Rainey's does not qualify. That didn't meet the minimum 60% original material, I think is the rule. Soul, which was in question, did, though. So I know that's one. I said, kind of after the movie premiered and everything, everybody was talking about the score being so good. I'm like, oh, okay, that's probably your frontrunner then. And then after, like, not too long after I said that on video here, all of a sudden everybody's like, whoa, it might not qualify because of 3 composers and stuff. And it's like, they don't usually go for that. And I'm like, uh-oh. But yeah, as of today, it's in there. So it just, obviously has to make the shortlist first. But it will be eligible for the shortlist there. Okay, then for the song categories, I'm going to go alphabetical by film here. So that's Lucy from The Life Ahead. I did not really... This is Diane Warren. So watch out for her. She's been is it 8 or 9 now at the Oscars. So I think very likely to be nominated again this year, so we'll see. Then I have Speak Now from One Night in Miami, which several have put as the kind of early front runner, so that might go all the way. Hear My Voice from Trial of the Chicago 7 I have in there. I have HI, so I actually should have been another way around here. Oh well. Wear Your Crown from the Prom, and then Just Sing from Trolls 2. And I've seen a lot of people have been putting in here for song the Wuhan Flu from the Borat sequel, and I'm really tempted to predict that one to get nominated, but I think they're going to enjoy at least those 3 nominations in the acting categories, comedy, and then film comedy. So it could go over that well and get 4 nominations, but it's really tough. I mean, if you're not like a suspected Oscar player like The Big Short, which got 4 nominations a few years ago, or The Martian got 3, I believe, at least 2. 3, yeah, because it got in for director. Yeah. It's really tough for those comedies to get, 4, 5, 6 up to that level nomination. The drama ones, it tends to be a lot easier. But, yeah, not always for the comedies there. For score, I'm going to try to roughly make these alphabetical, to Five Bloods. Then we have, which one is next here? The Midnight Skies, next alphabetically. Then News of the World, Soul, and Trial of the Chicago 7. I'm trying to think who else for score here. One Night in Miami might get in over to Five Bloods. That's another one. I don't think I said it on camera yet, but it's that one is ineligible at the Oscars. That didn't meet the minimum requirement or whatever. So Terrence Blanchard also did the score for that. So that one, yeah, might not make it at, or it might get into the Globes, but then will not be eligible at the Oscars. We've seen that with The Revenant. I think, was that a nominee that year for score at the Globes? I thought. If it wasn't, I know it was in the mix at least for that. So we've seen that happen before. Otherwise, for score, Minari might be one that pops up that might surprise us. I'm trying to think what else I had in here as a possibility, but Mank possibly, but again, I would say they're probably going to go more towards Soul, which feels like the kind of front runner right now. Let's see here. I mean, they could, speaking of another score that might not be eligible, Ma Rainey's they might put in, since it's all about music. But yeah, generally speaking, I feel like these 5 feel pretty secure at this point, but I don't know, the Globes always throw a couple surprises at us. Like, this is the one that Daniel Pemberton, who scored Trial of Chicago 7, he got in last year here for Motherless Brooklyn, which was a kind of out-of-nowhere nomination. So, I don't know, I'm trying to catch a couple of those, especially at SAG as well. Okay, moving on to animated film. I have the same 5 we talked about last time here. I haven't made any changes here. Onward, Over the Moon, Soul, Trolls 2, Trolls World Tour, and Wolfwalkers being the 5. The Willoughbys, a lot of people are talking about here. Possibly Shaun the Sheep sequel, the Farmageddon one might get in here. Yeah, this one, there's a little bit of wiggle room here, but definitely Onward, Wolfwalkers, Soul, those 3 feel pretty secure. Then Over the Moon, I think, should be a pretty easy bet for these guys as well, but it's just kind of that 5th slot that might be a little tricky there. For screenplay, here I did make one change, and it might be a mistake. I'll say it here. So the 5 I have getting in right now are... again, in alphabetical order here, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Mank, One Night in Miami, Trial of the Chicago 7, and The Father. Nomadland I have out for screenplay. Now, I made this huge mistake a couple years ago because I thought, before I had seen it too, Roma I thought was going to miss for screenplay here at the Globes. Because that last time Alfonso Cuarón had one out, Gravity, that did not do well in the screenplay categories, except for a couple of places. But Roma that year got in for everything, though, for screenplay. So that for this one, Nomadland kind of feels like that odd one out to me, because I kind of looked at it again. I'm like, okay, The Father feels like I didn't have it in early on, but it's like the way everybody talks about it. Again, having not seen it yet, everybody talks about it as a big like screenplay, like a great adaptation of it, and it's like I feel like that one's gonna get in. Ma Rainey's might miss here. To me, Mank, One Night in Miami, Trial of Chicago 7 are your 3 locks. I mean, if any one of those 3 miss, it's going to be like Jojo Rabbit missing last year. It's going to feel like a huge upset. So it's really, it's down to The Father and Ma Rainey's kind of being the 2 arguably weakest links here. And Nomadland could come back. I mean, just from the trailers, it looks like there's a couple of good monologues that some of the road people have and stuff. So, and it is adapted again from a pretty popular book there. Promising Young Woman is one. I think if it was really going to be a bigger competitor here in screenplay, I think we'd see a little bit more edge on it for getting into like drama picture or something. But right now, that's feeling like a long shot. So I feel like screenplay, kind of unfortunately, is in that same boat. And then, On the Rocks I had in there for a while there getting into screenplay. It could still happen. But again, it feels like after they bumped Bill Murray out of lead actor comedy, it kind of felt like, okay, maybe they're not as hot on that one. Because that almost would have been a gimme for him to get nominated for that. But now he's in the mix for supporting actor, and that might not go well. I feel like, we'll get supporting actor here. Minari might be one that comes back and gets nominated here. We did see Parasite here, and I didn't think it was going to get in last year, but a few people predicted it last year for screenplay. So that one that, kind of had a controversy around it because it wasn't up for picture drama last year was Parasite because of the international film rule. Same goes for Minari here this year. So I can see it sneaking in. I think it's definitely at the Oscars for original screenplay, it's in for sure. So they might want to go with it there. Da 5 Bloods is one. They didn't nominate Spike and his co-writers for Black Klansman here a few years ago, even though that one did very well with 2 acting nominations, director, picture. So I feel like that one might miss here as well. News of the World, again, I don't think this is not one of the stronger competitions for News of the World. We kind of named off quite a few there, but that's how I'm feeling there. Okay, we'll get into the acting races next year, and then we'll save director for later on. Okay, so the 5 I have are Ellen Burstyn for Pieces of a Woman, Olivia Colman for The Father, Glenn Close, I think I fucked that up again for alphabetical order, Glenn Close for Hillbilly Elegy. I've took out Helena Zengel. I'm putting in, and I'll explain here in a minute, Saoirse Ronan for Ammonite and Amanda Seyfried in for Mank. Now, I dropped Helena Zengel because, I don't know, I just kind of looked at it again, I'm like, I don't know. Now, this might be a deal because it feels like every time I predict the child actor, they don't make it. When I don't predict the child actor, they make it. So that I might have had it and then dropped it at the last minute here. Now, the reason I went back with Saoirse here, I think I had her getting in everywhere early on. It feels a lot like Annette Bening last year. She got in at a few early places, including the Globes, for whatever the one was last year she was in. I can't remember the title of it. I had it out front for picture for a long time, and then it totally fell apart. The one with Adam Driver, it was like the Iraq War kind of deal there, where they were like going into like the waterboarding controversy. But that film, The Report, from Annette Bening. Even after the film started tanking for like picture and for actor and for stuff like that, everybody was still like, well, Annette Bening might still get in, and she did get nominated at the Globes. And I'm kind of reminded of like a Kathy Bates for Richard Jewell. She might be, we might see a nominee like that this year, where it's like we have a solid 4, and then whoever got into the Globes or somebody who was sticking around early gets that last slot. And I'm kind of, for now, sticking with that rule of the foreign language performances not doing extremely well here at the Globes either. So Yoo Jun-yun, even though she just benefited from an Indie Spirit nomination, and she had a co-star actually nominated as well for Minari, I was thinking her, if not Helena, but then I looked at it again, I'm like, I don't know. Nicole Kidman is also a possibility for the Prom. I feel like, obviously this is out at, it was on Netflix to begin with, but it almost feels like if it had been like a bigger, musical type film, if it was like a Les Mis or something that was going to win motion picture there and then take a couple acting awards, like Anne Hathaway included, I feel like, and obviously Anne Hathaway was out front to begin with that, almost always that season, or early on she kind of got on track there. But Nicole Kidman obviously is not at that stage with this performance. Maybe then I would predict her, but I'm not really getting the sense that the Prom is going to be like a huge player. Like I have it in for song, Meryl, film, and it's like I don't really see where else it's going to get a lot of support, other than possibly here, and possibly also for James Corden for lead actor, but again, that one even feels maybe a little too crowded for him as well. All right. Otherwise, I'm not really sensing where else that out of nowhere nomination is going to be. So I'm just going to go with somebody who was out on the trail early with a film that released early, Ammonite, so Saoirse Ronan. Plus, she's been nominated here at the Globes, I think, as many times as the Oscars. Trying to think. And she won for Lady Bird. So it's like we have a former winner here for all, I believe Ellen Burstyn won a Globe back in the day. I mean, I don't have time to look it up now, but it's like, I think everybody except Amanda is the only one who hasn't won here before. Anyways, so that's supporting actress. Supporting actor, this continues to be the one where I just keep changing my mind every 5 minutes. I've kind of gone back and looked over a couple things, and I did take out, I'm trying to remember who I had here. I had Yahya and I had Bill Murray, and I've taken those two out. So my final 5 for now are Sacha Baron Cohen for Child of Chicago 7, Leslie Odom Jr. for One Night in Miami. Next up, I don't have these in alphabetical order, so forgive me here. I did put Daniel Kaluuya in for Judas and the Black Messiah, and then Paul Raci for Sound of Metal, and Mark Rylance for Child of Chicago 7. So I have something, sorry, hair on my tongue. It makes it easier to talk this way. So I don't know. I think Child of Chicago 7 might have, other than possibly the Oscars, might have their best morning here at the Globes. So I have them in for these 2 slots. Screenplay, I have it in for director, picture, song, score. So I have 7 for this one, if I'm counting right. And I didn't. Hopefully, I didn't miscount there. I didn't count it twice or something. But I have that one down for 7, which I believe would lead all films. Believe it would lead all films here. And I looked at it, and, Bill Murray, I can see him still making the cut, but that one, again, even though I made that argument for Saoirse and supporting actress, that one was out early, too, and sometimes being out too early is too bad for you, and you get kind of lost in there. And then for Yahya, it feels like, especially for his performance, his has really dropped. I've seen a lot of people starting to take him out in favor of Daniel Kaluuya or in favor of Bill Murray, who kind of saw a little bit of an upswing here recently. Paul Raci, of course, has been on the rise here over the last month, so he's definitely been going up. Let's see, a couple other contenders here. We could see Kingsley Ben-Adir get in here for One Night in Miami. Everybody from One Night in Miami is supporting here. David Strathairn could make a comeback for Nomadland. Chadwick Boseman possibly for The Five Bloods, but I think him getting lead actor drama probably is where they're going to prioritize him. But you never know. The Five Bloods I think will do fairly well here over on Wednesday here. But this is going to be a weird one going into the Oscars and stuff. Okay, then for the lead actor, leading categories here, starting with comedy musicals, lead actresses, no changes here. Maria Bakalova for Borat. Then I have, let's see here, next alphabetically would be Rashida Jones for On the Rocks, Michelle Pfeiffer for French Exit, Anya Taylor-Joy for Emma, and Meryl Streep, again, I got to mess these up, Meryl Streep for The Prom. And this really does feel like a safe 5 with Kristen Milotti for Palm Springs kind of being the one that could disrupt this. But remember, Emily Blunt, they really like her at the Globe, so Wild Mountain Thyme might be one that surprises here, but I'm kind of looking again over this list, and it's like I don't know who they would bump out. Because Anya Taylor-Joy, even though she's extremely likely to get nominated on the TV side for that Queen's Gambit, I feel like Emma has been hanging around the Oscar race still. I mean, I have it getting a couple nominations there for, like, production design, costume design. When it came out in theaters, it did fairly well, even though it was just before COVID really started hitting here in the U.S. So I feel like that one's sticking around. And Wild Mountain Thyme, which was, I can't remember if that's Netflix or Amazon, whatever, it kind of came out and everybody talked about it for a couple days, and nobody's talked about it since. Let's see here. Otherwise, I've seen a couple people thinking Meryl could get a double nomination. She could also get in for the Soderbergh effort, Let Them All Talk. But again, that was one that felt like it peaked as soon as it came out. And it's like, people started talking about it possibly for like Globes and stuff, and then it's like everybody just forgot about it. And then we did mention Tessa Thompson possibly for Sylvie's Love, and she could still make it in. But it's like, again, I don't know. I feel like these 5, arguably 6 with Kristen Milotti also being sure to get, I'm sure, a couple votes in there. I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's pretty solid there. Okay, then for the lead actor comedy musical category, I have Sacha Baron Cohen again nominated here for Borat. Then I have Pete Davidson for King of Staten Island. Then I have Lin-Manuel Miranda for Hamilton. Dev Patel getting in for Personal History of David Copperfield, and Andy Samberg for Palm Springs. Now, again, it's going to be a question of can Leslie Odom Jr. be like Sasha and get the double nominations. Weird that they would both be in the same categories, though. I'm trying to think if that's happened before. Oh, man, I can't think of it. If we've seen 2 actors nominated twice on the same day at SAG, or at Globes, I mean, and then also happen to be nominated in the same categories. I'd have to look really, really hard to find that stat. And yeah, it feels like really Leslie Odom Jr. for Hamilton and James Corden for The Prom are like the only other two that I'm really seeing being talked about here. But I don't know. I feel like just if one of the one guys from Hamilton gets in, I feel like Lin-Manuel ought to probably be the one they would go with, especially with Leslie having his chance over in supporting actor there for One Night in Miami, and he's pretty far from a front runner there. Not only at the Oscars, but probably for all the shows here, except maybe SAG, where they might go Mark Rylance if he happens to get in. And I was going to talk about that too, because I feel like at SAG, Sasha's going to get in no matter what. And I feel like, again, kind of going that theory, just to break off a minute here and go back to SAG, but I was thinking a little bit about it right after I was done with the video there about SAG, because I'm like, well, what happens if they want to go somebody else in supporting actor and not Sacha Baron Cohen, who at this point feels like the obvious choice for Trial of the Chicago 7? And I was like, well, they might go with Yahya. They might go with Jeremy Strong. They might go with... especially Mark Rylance being the obvious go-to, because he was nominated but didn't win the year of Bridge of Spies at SAG there. So it's like, if they do that, then I would be shocked if Sasha does not then get nominated for lead actor. But I'm like, but he'd have to get in for Borat. And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, it could be one of those really weird things. And I can see, because it is an Amazon venture. And one I forgot about, Amazon did score the year of 2017 for The Big Sick. They had The Big Sick. I did forget, that got in for Ensemble that year. So maybe another comedy gets in with the Borat sequel getting a surprise SAG Ensemble nomination. That would be weird. I think if it gets in for Stunt Ensemble or something like that, that would make a little more sense. But I'm like, I kind of thought about it. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, stranger things have happened at the Screen Actors Guild. So I don't know. I mean, it would be, we'll probably talk more about that on Tuesday or Wednesday there, or before Thursday's nominations come out. But for SAG, but it's like, I was kind of thinking about it a little bit. I'm like, I don't know if that's too dangerous a switch for me, I think, to put in Sasha for lead actor and take out him and put in Mark Rylance or somebody else for Trial of Chicago 7, because I'm still convinced that Trial of Chicago 7 is only going to get one slot at SAG for supporting actor, but and I could be wrong. It could be two, and then they go somewhere else. But yeah, we'll talk about that one more when we get to that one in a separate video there. Okay, then going over to the drama races. For lead actress drama, I have Viola Davis here for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Again, this alphabetically. Frances McDormand. K before M. Vanessa Kirby first for Pieces of a Woman, then Frances McDormand for Nomadland, Carey Mulligan for Promising Young Woman, and then Zendaya getting in for Malcolm and Marie. And yeah, I've kind of looked everywhere, and a lot of people have Zendaya out, and they have Sophia Loren getting this nomination for The Life Ahead. And it's probably very likely to get that song in that foreign language film or international film, whichever they call it here at the Globes. Very likely to get those two slots, so it would be kind of surprising to not see it get lead actress. But I'm kind of looking at it, I'm like, I don't know, Malcolm and Marie kind of coming in last minute. I'm sure, that's one I can see kind of being like, I don't know, I've been watching a lot of stuff from the year of 2017, and I remember that year, All the Money in the World, which, remember had that huge commotion because all of a sudden Kevin Spacey, they cut him from the film, they put in Christopher Plummer. And they had behind the scenes, we later learned that the Globes had a special showing of that film, a special screening of it, right before, it was the last thing they saw before they voted. And the result, they got in for director, for Ridley Scott, they got in for lead actress, for, what's her name, Michelle Williams, and supporting actor, not way too surprising because he ended up getting nominated later at the Oscars for Christopher Plummer. So I'm trying to think, an equivalent this year, maybe Malcolm and Marie was one of the last ones they saw. Now, I don't know if it would get as big a push as that one did. But I think seeing that one late, and especially the way it's been described here, Zendaya and John David Washington both give powerhouse performances in it, and they're literally the only two people on the screen through the whole movie. So that definitely, it's hard to forget that. But, yeah, I'm thinking maybe that late one impresses them, and The Life Ahead, which I think it's on Netflix. If it was, it came out way early, even though it is Hollywood foreign press, and Sophia Loren feels like a very obvious fit here. I can see her missing, and they go with Zendaya late, or I don't know. I'm thinking about it at the Oscars here, and I think I mentioned it very early on, right after I saw the film, but Carey Mulligan is somebody I can see. She gets into the Globes, gets in at SAG, gets Critics' Choice, might even get BAFTA. But then, like Jake Gyllenhaal in Nightcrawler, kind of playing not the exact same role, but a very similar role. I can see that switch happening again, where Carey misses actress, but it gets in for screenplay. Something weird like that. I can see that happening again. But at the Globes, I feel like she's fairly safe. And Vanessa Kirby, again, I can see her being like that ingenue, young actress being awarded type performance there for Pieces of Woman. Plus, again, that's my personal favorite of the ones I've seen so far this year for her performance, definitely. So I would be really devastated personally if she doesn't get in. But it's like, yeah, I feel like, she's not a weak link there. And then Viola and Francis feel very safe. So it's really it's going to be a tight one there to get it down. And it could be, I can see a case. I mean, we talked about it last year because sometimes what happens here at the Globes is they have that tie and they get a sixth nominee for some of these film awards. And again, I believe the last time that happened here on the movie side was Django Unchained got both Leo and Christoph Waltz in, and they had 6 supporting actors. So, I mean, if it would happen anywhere this year, again, kind of like last year, I was thinking if it was going to happen last year, it would be that drama picture race where we'd see like Ford v Ferrari be that 6th nominee. But and that could happen again this year for film drama, because there's a couple in there where it's like The Father especially. I don't have that one in for film drama right now, but it's like, man, that one feels like that one should be in. And no wait, I don't have it in, do I? No, I don't. Okay. And News of the World's another one. It's like another year, boom, that would be a huge gimme. Or Defy Bloods maybe even might be one that because that one's getting a little bit more steam now for like Best Picture and a couple other categories there. It's like, that should be an easy bet, but it's like arguably the 5 films that a lot of people are picking to win Best Picture right now, other than Minari, are all the ones that are probably going to get nominated. So it's like, it's tough. It's tough. Okay, so sticking with drama here, the 5 I have picked here, yep, I did wuss out. Riz Ahmed, I put him in for Sound of Metal, then Chadwick Boseman for Ma Rainey's, then I have Anthony Hopkins for The Father, Delroy Lindo for Defy Bloods, and Gary Oldman for Mank. And yeah, so I took out Tom Hanks here. And again, I just as soon as I took him out, I'm like, that also affected my decision with Helena, because it's like, I don't really see a scenario where just she gets in. It's like, I feel like if she's going to get in, Tom Hanks is going to get in, the movie might get in for picture drama, even Paul Greengrass might be a threat there for Best Director. But it's like, I don't know, I feel like score and done is what I'm going to go with for News of the World, even though I do like that one a lot, but I don't know, I just don't see that one, going all the way and getting like all those nominations. I don't know. I don't know who you put aside in so many of these categories to make room for that. Stephen Yeun for Minari is a possibility here. I don't know. I'm kind of thinking about it because it's like, I always forget he's from The Walking Dead. That's where he got a lot of his popularity here. But it's like, again, it's like nobody from Parasite got in last year, and the Globes, they went for it for director, screenplay, as well as international film or foreign language film. So it's like, I don't know. It's like that was the first sign we started to see Parasite as a real strong possibility for like screenplay and stuff. Now, director, I think most everybody, I have to look back because I thought I had him in. I'm pretty sure I had him in last year for director, but getting the nomination, that is. I know I had him to win, but that didn't turn out at the Globes here. But anyways, otherwise, I've been kind of thinking about, it's like if they don't go like I think Delroy is probably the one to go here. I think Gary Oldman possibly could go here because remember the Globes don't really love Gary Oldman. I'm gonna look this up again because I forgot here, and I might. It's obviously too late now because I've already shot it here, but it's like. I've been thinking about it, it's like, well, I remember he won for Darkest Hour that year, and he won everything for Darkest Hour. But it's like, I remember going into the show, I was kind of tempted late, and I didn't predict him to win because I was like, a lot of people said, look, he has said some things in the past that the Golden Globe voters, the HFPA, did not like, because remember, he had in previous years, like for Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, he'd been nominated quite a few places, and he ended up getting the Oscar nomination. He was nominated in some places for the Contender for Screen Actors Guild. I'm seeing he was nominated here for, but he didn't get nothing from the Golden Globes. And his only nomination to date on the Golden Globes, both from, and I feel like he's done some TV work, so I might be totally wrong about that, but in the past he might have. His only nomination to date has been for Darkest Hour. So I mean, if that's the case, he might be the one to go here. But again, I feel like Mank, I don't know, it feels like The Post. It feels like one of those solid contenders that's just going to get everything it's projected to get, like screenplay, director, films, supporting actress, actor. And I think, I put it in for something else. Didn't? No. Okay, no, I took it out for song. Yeah, I didn't have it in for song. Okay, I thought I had it in for song for a minute there, yeah. And it could. I mean, the song got disqualified today. It's because it's evidently it's not long enough or something. But it's like, I don't know. And then I'm reminded too, though, of, and it's not the exact equivalent here, but I'm reminded of Robert De Niro not getting in here last year for The Irishman. That was our first sign that something was wrong there, because up to that point he'd been, Critics' Choice was just days before the Globes, I remember last year, and he got in there. I mean, everybody, I remember especially after Golden Globe, after Critics' Choice, everybody said, oh yeah, De Niro is a very solid bet. Yep, he'll get in everywhere this year. And then, and he just missed everything from that point on. Now, part of that also, I believe, I heard some of the chatter last year was that, he also has said some things in the past about Golden Globes that they did not appreciate. But it also, I think the primary case last year across most of the shows for him not getting nominated was, and SAG being an exception there, is that he was a producer on The Irishman. And with SAG, if the film got in for ensemble, then he's nominated there. So, obviously, that's not the case for Gary Oldman. Last I checked, he's not a producer on Mank. But it's like, if they really hold that grudge against him, I can see him being the one to go there, and then they can make room for Tom Hanks, then they can make room for somebody else. And then Delroy, even though The Five Bloods, it was a very early release, so they might forget about it. But, man, if you see that film, there's no way you forget that performance. That's a terrific performance this year. Now, I still put, Chadwick above him, though, for the ones I've seen, but... yeah, and Gary Oldman's always great in Mank there as well. But if they really want to put Tom Hanks in there, then they have a couple places to put him in. But it's like, I don't know. And John David Washington's another one I was kind of considering there for Malcolm and Marie as well. But I don't know. I feel like or maybe kind of the inverse there, like we saw in a couple of years ago with BlacKkKlansman, where John David Washington was kind of the one we didn't expect to get in. He got in. Both at SAG and Golden Globes. But Lakeith Stanfield, possibly for Judas and the Black Messiah, could be one. Because remember that year, Adam Driver almost, not from the word go, but a lot of people thought he was if anybody from BlacKkKlansman was going to get in, it was going to be him. And right now, it feels like that's the way it is with Judas and the Black Messiah. All the buzz has been on, in the supporting actor race there, Daniel Kaluuya. But it's like, I don't know, maybe Lakeith Stanfield, if they see that one late and it does make a big impression on him, possibly like a Malcolm and Marie, then maybe he does inch his way into the actor race here and gets in over Delroy, gets in over Gary or some of the others there. All right, then for the director race, the five I have here, and again, we'll go alphabetical here. Lee Isaac Chung for Minari. And then I have Regina King. Oh, no. Sorry, David Fincher would come first for Mank. Then Regina King for One Night in Miami. Aaron Sorkin for Child of Chicago 7. And Chloe Zhao for Nomadland. So again, I'm very wary about a Spike Lee here. And I think The Five Bloods, getting that actor nomination and score, I think that's a good showing for him still, even if it doesn't land film drama, even if it doesn't get a screenplay nomination. Then again, Spike Lee is one... remember something and it didn't do these exact nominations, but Steve Jobs was a huge player here a few years ago. It got supporting actress, it got screenplay, lead actor, but then it would miss, and score, but it missed for drama, film, and it missed for director for Danny Boyle that year. So it could be a similar case there, but I don't know. That doesn't quite feel right to me. So yeah, I don't have him in. Paul Greengrass is another one I'm very wary of here, and then... some people are still thinking maybe Florian Zeller could come through for The Father, but I don't know. I feel like, screenplay and the two acting races, and then if it does sneak into the drama race, that's probably tops for that one. All right, and then I do have Ma Rainey's getting 3 nominations here. So George C. Wolfe possibly for director. I had him in at one point at the Oscars, but. I've taken him out since, and I haven't really thought about going back to him yet, getting nominated. All right, so for the 5 films I've selected here for the motion picture comedy musical race, I have Borat, the sequel there, On the Rocks, Hamilton, messed up already on this, Palm Springs, and The Prom, being the 5 there. Now, again, French Exit, Emma, Personal History of David Copperfield, and possibly even something like a King of Staten Island. One of those could sneak in there, but probably the one... I mean, maybe Emma might be that one, or Personal History of David Copperfield might be that one that gets in, but Hamilton, especially after they clarified that, yes, it is in here, but not at the Oscars, after that felt like a slam dunk, so, yeah. I don't know. I feel like that one's pretty solid there. And then Palm Springs then maybe is like maybe the weakest link in here, but I don't know. I feel like there's not enough wind behind French Exit right now for that one to come through. I had it in earlier getting nominated, but I took it out since. So, yeah, we'll have to see there if anybody else sneaks in there. And then for the drama race, I still have the same 5 here. Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Mank, Nomadland, One Night in Miami, Trial of the Chicago 7. So, yeah, The Father, I think, is really going to be close. The Five Bloods and News of the World are probably going to be pretty close. Yeah, possibly, again, if they really, really like Judas and the Black Messiah, that one might sneak on all of a sudden. Sound of Metal, I don't quite see that one going all the way. You know, something like, again, the obvious comparison everybody makes is Whiplash. That one just got J.K. Simmons that year at the Globes and SAG and stuff. So I don't see that one being all of a sudden a surprise Best Picture contender. After a big nod here at the Globes, I don't see it happening here. Possibly Malcolm and Marie, again, if that one left a huge impression on him at the end. But I think, again, like screenplay would be a bigger play if that was going to be the case, or possibly for director. But I don't know. Being such a small setting and stuff, some of those movies they really enjoy and get, like Sidney Lumet and both him and the guy who directed Virginia Woolf. Oh, God, I can't think of it. Mike Nichols. Jesus Christ. Both of those first-time directors and in small spaces, and both, though, adapted by plays. Those both got in at the Oscars. And I believe... I'd have to look back and see if they both got in at the Globes. But Sam Levinson, who's actually the son of... God, I'm terrible. Barry Levinson here. Yeah, I was about to say the guy who did Rain Man and stuff. Yeah, but I believe he's directed before. Yeah, he's done a couple films before this. So yeah, he's not a first time director here. Anyway, so I think we would see if that was going to happen. I think we'd see a few surprises like that. But I don't know. I don't get that sense. If anything, it does get the 2 actors in, and that's probably about it. Anyways, anything else to mention here for possibilities? No, nothing's really sticking out to me here. Anyways, so that's what I have for the Golden Globes right now. Those are locked in final predictions here. The key is I haven't seen this anywhere yet as of Monday night here, but I'm not seeing who and when they're announcing these nominations. So they could do, because obviously it used to be a big deal because you'd have all the journalists in there, you'd have the president and the ambassadors, who I believe this year they have announced that's going to be the offspring of, I can't remember if it was just daughter or if it was son and daughter or if it was just daughters of Spike Lee. Which is another reason I thought about it, and I'm like, I don't know about Spike Lee, because it's like if they already give him the honor of having his kids being the ambassadors there, I mean, it doesn't always tend to go that way for if you're going to get nominated or not. It's like kind of like Don Cheadle. I remember I had him getting nominated one year, and then they said, "Oh, he's going to actually announce one of the the nominees and stuff." And I was like, "Oh, I probably should take him out," or it was too late when I learned that or something. But it was like, "Oh yeah, clearly that didn't work." Ambassadors. I'm just going to look this up really quick here because I can't remember who it was. Satchel and Jackson Lee are the 2 ambassadors this year. So so maybe Spike does get in still, but it's like, just traditionally speaking, I don't think there's way too many cases where the ambassador, whoever they are, if they have a contender that year, they get in as well. I can't remember if that's happened before or not, or if it's very recent or not. But they usually hang out there for the when they announce nominees. And then obviously they have 3 or 4 presenters, and it's like, well, obviously in a COVID environment that might really struggle. I can see where they might not want to do that. It would be kind of tough because it's like, okay, do you put up shields, and stuff between everybody so they don't, keep the 6 feet apart thing. We've seen a lot of stuff, like, especially I watch a lot of sports and stuff, but it's like they have people, whether it's NFL or if it's NCAA basketball or football, whenever they do halftime shows and stuff, they have all the commentators there hanging out, and none of them are masked. They're all 6 feet apart. So it's like, it's possible to, if you're possible to do that, then it's possible to have the opening, not opening, but like, you get what I mean, the live announcements thing, just keep everybody 6 feet apart. And when they go up to the mic, have like a big shield or something over it, so they don't, get, whatever. But it's like, and obviously you could test them beforehand, obviously, if it's a false positive test, then okay, that happens. But it's like, you could test them beforehand, just make sure they're fine and have a couple backups ready just in case. But, I don't know. I haven't seen, there's been no announcements about that, so it might be just a press release this year. I would have to, again, really have to go back through Golden Globes history to see if that's how they used to do it. I'm sure they did it. I don't think it's always been at 6 in the morning or 7 in the morning they have all these people come forward. It hasn't been that way since the 40s when they started this, I don't think, no. Or 50, whenever they started this. Yeah, so I'd have to really look into that and see when they first started announcing them live, this far in advance and stuff. But, yeah, I haven't seen anything. So if it is a press release, they haven't been as forthcoming about that. If it is, then, I don't have to necessarily get up that early that morning. But otherwise, I would, if I learn more about it and we have everything ready to go, I'll do a live reactions there if it is actually live reactions. I don't think that would work very well. We've tried it before with, like, when BAFTA announces the technical nominations and stuff, because they do like screenplay and up, they do live announcements usually. But when they do like the tech categories and international feature, I think except for last year and stuff, those they always just release those on the BAFTA website. I always remember because I'm here at like 2 a.m. my time, and I'm like hitting refresh because it's never there. And then and then I go away and somebody else has already posted it. It's like it's always crashing when I try to load them up there on that whatever morning that is. Again, at like very ungodly hours of the morning and all that. But so it's like it's like when I'll read the nominees there and it's like I don't know, I never get as big a reaction out of those because I can read it before I hear it and all that stuff. So. If it's not a live reaction thing, if that's not possible because of a live announcement of who the nominees are, I'll just come on sometime that day, that morning probably, and just discuss them really quick and knock out, okay, who did I miss? Who did I get right? Who is the early frontrunner based off the nominations? Who did really well? Which films really struggled? So on and so forth, like we normally do. And the same would apply for SAG. I haven't heard, and I haven't actually done any searching yet, but I'll do that off camera here. About SAGs, if they're doing a live announcement or not. Usually if they're doing, if the live announcements, they don't save it this late, so it's, again, very likely at this stage it's just going to be a press release for both, which, I don't know, in my mind, I mean, it's a different topic, but, something down the road we're going to think about is, okay, how are they going to do these actual awards shows? Because obviously right now, especially in liberal California, where up until like 2 minutes ago, you weren't allowed to go outside or else people were going to condemn you. It's like getting all these celebrities in a crowded room, all wearing masks. It wasn't going to happen. I mean, even if you have a seat apart for everybody at the Oscars at the Kodak Theater and stuff, that was probably not going to happen. Not in that stage. And I know early on, the Oscars would say, "Oh yeah, we're going to have something in person." It's like, and then within 2 seconds, everybody ripped him a new asshole for saying that. And now they've said, we'll reconsider. Oh, I said we don't know yet, but it's very likely going to be some kind of. Event that's happens through, Skype or whatever, all virtual award ceremonies and stuff this year. And I haven't done the research yet, but I don't know about the Golden Globes here, if they're going to do that or not. They've announced that Tina Fey and Amy Poehler are coming back to host, which I'm very excited about. All 3 years they knocked, especially the first year when they were, really getting it in there, but it's like they knocked it out of the park all times. All 3 of those times, I had at least 2 or 3 big belly laughs out of their presentation. They always did a really great job. And I didn't mind, usually, I kind of thought back, I can't remember how I reacted that night to Ricky Gervais, but he had some good laughs that night, last year. But he always has that, like, "Are you serious? I'm hosting another award show." I can't do a great impression of him, but he always has that very reserved, very, sarcastic delivery there, where he's like, "I can't believe you people put me up here." So he always has that kind of tendency about him. But it's like it's part of the act, obviously. But I would think. I mean, maybe in real life he does feel that way. But anyways. But yeah, it's going to be a big question mark, and it might not be until like a couple days before where we absolutely know if it's going to be all virtual or not. But yeah, for something like the Globes, it's like, remember they're all at their different tables and stuff wherever it's like at a hotel or something. I can't remember where it's always held at the same place, but it's all their tables are together, and they have a second one for all. They shove all the TV people back here on like the very far side, and then all the film people are down front so they can get up to stage quicker and stuff. Because it's always a painful watch, because it's like whenever they always start with a couple, they might do a film category, then the first thing after that is always like 3 or 4 TV awards, and it's always people again clear back at the furthest table that win. And when it takes them 4 fucking minutes for them to get on stage. Because it's like, okay, it's not just that they get over the shock of, oh, I just won. It's a Golden Globe. It's like, who gives a shit, really? But, because these are not, they're not always life-changing awards. But it's like, okay, they get over the shock of winning, and then they have to get up out of their table, and then everybody else gives them a standing ovation who's around their table, so they have to get around them. And then they have to get between the chairs, because they're always smushed together with the different tables, because everybody on this table beside you, they're standing up and applauding you, standing ovation. Then you have to walk through as many of those tunnels as you can between all the tables and stuff. Then you have to go down and do it all over again with the tables down front, where everybody at this point is standing and applauding you and all that. And it's like, oh my God. I remember... It was like, I think Jacqueline Bisset won one of these a couple of years ago or something for TV, and it's like, not only did she take forever to get to stage, but then she had the longest, most boring, drolling speech, arguably of Globe's history. And I mean, oh my God, I don't know how they didn't play her off. Oh, it was so terrible. But and she just was rambling. I mean, like I'm doing all the time, she's just rambling, going on and on. Poor soul. But yeah. I don't know. So I'm not looking forward to that if they try to do an equivalent this year. But I feel like, yeah, with COVID and everything, it's like, yeah, I don't know. And I've been looking at the numbers too, and it's like, yeah, California has tended to be over the last few months here like the biggest number daily for new cases and stuff. So obviously it's where a lot of people are. It's probably the most, as far as I know, the most populous state of the U.S. So. I'm trying to sneeze here. So that makes sense. But I don't know. And it'll be a big mystery if they just want to hold it all virtually for like every last show or how they're going to do it. But yeah. Anyway, so that's a discussion for another time. We'll see where it's at and everything. I'm coming from the Midwest. Not everything is 100% back to normal yet. Like movie theaters are open where I'm at. If you go into a bar, most everybody has a mask off and stuff, and they're able to congregate and do whatever like normal. You can go to ball games and stuff. You just have to have a mask on at all times and all that. So it's like, yeah, there's restrictions, for how many can get in and stuff. But it's like every everyday life is back to the way it was. Just you have to have a mask on. Most public places you go. So it's like, with that, it's like, yeah. So obviously coming from that background, I'm like, oh, of course they can host it. But it's like, no, I think about it, it's like, no, they can't. It's very, very different when you get out to more populated areas like that. So anyways, yeah, that's all I got for now. So I'll be back again here. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to have time tomorrow to do anything with SAG or not. It's probably smarter just to wait until right after the Globes are out. Then I can make some last minute changes. What's usually nice in a regular awards year is we'll have, okay, the Globes, like if they're announced on a Monday, then Wednesday is the SAGs. So you have Tuesday to make up your mind on everything and make your last minute changes based on who gets in at the Globes, if you want to make any last minute changes there. And then SAG, you'll have that opportunity. But with the way it is this year, and some years it does play out this way, but it's like when you have Globes one day and then the SAGs are the next, it gives you just a couple hours to kind of fixate everything. So yeah, I'll probably make up my final decisions on SAG. I think from my last video, I don't think I made any changes yet, but definitely what happens at the Globes might affect a couple of those. Especially like supporting actor again is that one category this year where it's like I can see like 6 different possibilities hanging out. I can still see a possibility at some of these award shows where 3 of the Trial of Chicago 7 guys get in. It's possible that 2 of the One Night in Miami guys get in. It's possible, that we see Bill Murray get in and Daniel Kaluuya get. It's like there's like 700 different ways that category can go down, and it's like, oh boy, And it's like you throw in, okay, what about Chadwick Boseman? What about David Strathairn? What about, you name all the other people? It's like, oh my god, it's just such a headache. So that one, I don't know. I'm sure I'm going to miss a few along the way, but yep. All right, I've gone on long enough. So yeah, whatever happens Wednesday morning for when they do the announcements, whether they do a press release or if they actually do a live announcements, we'll catch you then. So if it is live announcements, you will get live reactions. If it's not, I'll be there some point in the day and we'll go over everything.